So last time we talked about what is doing mathematics, and you guys did post a lot of good stuff there. So I'm very happy to see your drawings of doing mathematics and a lot of insights in your discussion about how you feel like number sense and stuff. So that was great. And from today, for 2 weeks, we're gonna talk about early number concepts and number sense. Okay, so it's for more like preschool and kindergarten, but number sense and counting starts from when they were very, very young. So starting from there, we're gonna build on higher level of math. So let's talk about quantity, counting, and knowing how many there are. I don't know if we are familiar with this word subitizing. Subitizing means it's just sing it, okay? So for example, we are more familiar with rolling a die or dice. You can look at the number pattern. For example, on this die, you can see right away that there are 5 dots, right? We don't count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because we have been playing with it a lot of times and our eyes are accustomed to that and our brain is also accustomed to that, and without counting, by just saying it, we say, oh, there are 5 and this 2, something like that. We know the number pattern, the quantity pattern there, and our brain knows right away it is a certain number. That's called subitizing. So children even can explore the quantity before they can count. And we think subitizing is really good practice for very young children to develop the number sense. Okay, so it is a fundamental skill in the development of a student's understanding about a number. So they're gonna develop, through their experience, through their plays, they can, learn about the number using the pattern in the set. Okay, so let's think about some activities. Right away, you know there are 5 dots. Right away, you know there are 4 dots. And you can even develop that by combining the knowing pattern, 2 patterns together. You have 5. Some students can think about, by counting on 5, 6, 7, they can count, right? So something like that, they can use the subitizing there. So here is another activity that you can do. Using the paper plate, you can paste some dot patterns there, okay? And then you can hold up that plate for 1, 2, 3 seconds and ask, how many dots do you see? What did the pattern look like? Just for 2, 3 seconds, okay? 1, 2, 3 seconds. And children like to see how quickly they can recognize the pattern. It's a really fun game. I did with I did this activity with my preschool students, and they had so much fun too. Of course, it's fun activity for preschool or kindergarten as well. Okay, so you can make a workstation and show a lot of dot plates. This dot plates activity can be found in the website, a lot of websites, and Dandy Wall textbook too. So I'm going to share some of that under resources, okay? So take a look at that. Here's one subitizing activity that you can do. I briefly talked about this, but in one plate you can show 5. They already know this is 5. They already know this is 3 and 3. So they can combine them together. We call this doubles because they know this is also learned pattern too. When you are doubling the number, you can get to know the other number, like 1 and 1 is 2, 2 and 2, 4, 3 and 3, 6, right? So pattern like that, combining 2 patterns together, especially this case, it is doubles, so they are used to with it, and they can find out the numbers right away. Or you can even talk about some other combining two patterns, like this one. They already know this is 6 and that's 1. And you can develop one more or two more, one less, two less. We're going to talk about that next week, so keep an eye on that. Okay? So using these activities, students can develop some number sense. Another subitizing activities that I want to introduce you is using 10 frame. 10 frame article is one of the articles you're going to read soon. 10 frame is really, really useful for the students to develop number sense, especially in base 10 system that we are using in our word, right? And we can also connect this to our body because we have 10 fingers. It's really easy, and students can get to know the first row is 5, next row is 5 if it is filled up, right? So they can see, oh, there are 5 and 2 more, so they can count on. Instead of counting from the beginning, they can do 5, 6, 7. That happens only after they know there are 5 and they can do the count on. They need to practice for that, okay? Or some students can think about this by subitizing 4 and 3. There are a lot of other things that they can do, right? And some students even can develop their thinking like 5 and 2 more, 6, 7. So there are a lot of activities they can do with the 10 frames. You can extend this one as well. So we know if this 10 frame is filled up, there are 10 dots. And here I have 7 dots. So combining them together, there are 17 dots. It's for more upper grade, like first and second grade too. I'm just saying that once they are used to using this, 10 frames, and they know how to, subitize, if they are familiar with that, they can always extend that thinking in number sense as well. Okay, so early counting, it happens when the children are very young. When they are only 3 and 4 years old, they can already have meaningful counting activities. So for your preschool students or kindergarten students, we can help them develop their counting skills. So let's look at the first bullet here. A child must be able to produce the standard list of counting words in order. So before they learn how to write number 1, number 2, and so on, you can start from the words 1, 2, 3, and they get to know 1 comes before 2, 3 comes after 2, 2 comes before 3 comes before 2, and so on. So they get to know when they're counting, they start from 1, and then 2 comes, then 3 comes. So it's like a song. They can remember this order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because it's just the promise, right? It's just the rule that we are making in this society. We just call that Roman numeral, that number 1, as 1. In other country, they call it differently. So the English users, we can just remember the names of the number and the order, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, right? So they need to know the list of counting words there. Then the children must be able to connect this sequence in a 1-to-1 manner. I highlighted it there because they have to know there's a correspondence between the quantity, actual quantity, and the counting words. So if there's only one object, you can correspond that to 1. If there are 2 objects, you can start from 1 by corresponding that one object to word 1, the second object to word 2. And the student knows that the last word, number word they are calling is exactly same as how many quantity there is. So the last counting number they are using by 1-to-1 sequence, they know that's how many there are. So they can match order numbers with object, right? So children will learn how to count by matching counting words with objects one-on-one manner before they understand that the last count word indicates the amount of the set. But they have to develop that, right? So this kind of connection, cardinality connection, students can make by age 4 or 5. Some students even can learn that even earlier age too. So in a preschool class, in which the children know there are 14 students, guess what? They don't know whether they need 14 cookies. So we need to help them develop, okay? So here are some dots for you. And if you show a child a card with a 9 large dots in a row like that, okay, so they can easily count them. So you can ask a child to count the dots, and they will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They counted 9, right? Okay, then you can ask, how many dots are on the card? Guess what? Many children will count them again. They already counted that as 9, but if you ask how many dots are there on the card, they go back and counting all over again. That's because they didn't develop the last number they are counting. They said is the number of dots they counted already. Okay, then we can develop their numeral writing and recognition. So they already know the orally how to count in order from 1, 2, 3, and so on, right? Then we can help them read and write the numerals. Okay, but that doesn't mean that they have, even if they know how to write 1 or how to read 2, that doesn't mean that they have the number concept. So I will let you watch this John counting video. I love John counting. This is an old Sesame Street video, but it's really fun, and John such a cute baby, so you will enjoy that too. But not only just admire his cuteness, I want you to pay attention to how he's counting, okay? And think about whether he has the number concept or not. Take a look.
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help. This sentence is grammatically correct.
Okay, here we go.
Do you suppose we could count together?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go first and you go second, okay?
Okay.
I'll do the first one and then you.
I go first.
Oh, you want to go first?
Second.
Okay, you go first.
1,
2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
11,
12,
12,
13,
13,
14,
14, 15. What's after 15? After 15 comes 16.
Oh, God, that is
16, 17, 18, 19.
What comes after 19?
20!
John, is that you all grown up?
It sure is, Harry.
Whoa, great to see. I guess they don't call you John anymore, huh?
So we will stop here. Okay, so we watched John counting 1 to 20 before he grew up that big, okay? Okay, so hold on, let me I want to make this presentation because I'm recording it doesn't let me, I cannot find it, anyways, so when John counted 1 to 20, do you think he really had the understanding of the number? To me, it's more like he remembered like alphabet song, right? So it takes some time for young students to understand what 17 mean, what 19 mean, 18 mean, things like that, okay? So even if a little kid knows from 1 to 20 in order and remembers that order, that doesn't mean that he understands the number concept there, okay? How did you learn in traditionally? Let's think about that too. We did repetition, right? We did a lot of tracing numbers and numerals on paper, in sand, and with the clay or writing in the air. We did a lot of them, right? Yeah, but so yeah, actually that helps, but it doesn't directly help students to understand the number concept. It is necessary for them to know, how to write and how to read the numerals, but that doesn't mean that they have the number concept. Okay? So, okay, I can make it. There we go. Okay. So modeling and questioning is really, really helpful. So we're going to keep continuing with your students by just modeling with a lot of activities, with a lot of manipulatives or some other tools. And you can ask questions a lot of times to make sure they understand the number concept, how many are there. And we're going to develop that later on, such as how many more, which one's more, what is one more than that, two less than that, things like that. So we can do a lot of questions like that. So here is some supporting so supporting materials, okay, and activities that you can do to develop the cardinality for your young students. Okay, so let's take a look at this too.
Cardinality basically means that you count out a set of objects to determine the total quantity, and as you recite the number words, you understand that the last number word you used tells you the total quantity in the set.
1 block, 2 block, 3 block, 4 block, 5 block, 6 block, 7 block, 8 block.
Now that's a difficult concept. We see a lot of children counting out, maintaining one-to-one correspondence, but not knowing that the last number word they said is the total amount.
5, 4, 6,
You have how many?
46.
46?
When we ask them, what is the total number? How many did you count? Some of them go back to counting 1, 2, 3, and some others will just look at you. And while all of those tell you that they can count, it doesn't tell you that they can recognize the total quantity by the act of counting. Sometimes children count out and we hear that the last number word, they have a little rise in their tone.
2, 3, 4.
And that gives you a sense that they realize that I've come to the end of my number sequence. This number word is special. It tells me something about the quantity. And from that realization, they eventually get to a point where they realize that the last number word is a total object.
6, 7.
Adults can support children's understanding of cardinality throughout the day.
Lexi, are you on 12?
Yes.
Damien, are you on 13?
Yeah.
Teachers frequently ask children to count how many other children are in school that day. This provides an opportunity to emphasize the total number in the group.
My friend Stephanie just counted our friends. Look, I'm going to write the number 8.
Opportunities for supporting cardinality can also come up naturally during children's play.
How many people are going with you?
My whole family. Grammy from this baby.
We have to know how many tickets to buy. So should we make a list of everybody?
My sister is number 1. And my baby's number 2.
So sis
4, 5, 6, 7.
1, 7. So we need 7 people. 7 tickets you need to buy then?
It's easy to assume that children have cardinality when they count correctly. But in order to check their understanding, adults can ask them how many in all.
6 and 7 and 8.
So how many cubes are in the cup? 8. There were actually 8.
It's also important for adults to be deliberate in stating the total number.
4, 5, 6.
6 blocks you used.
Cardinality develops gradually and over repeated counting opportunities. You can support children's understanding of cardinality by modeling it for them and by questioning and prompting them to state the total quantity of their counting.
Okay, so yeah, we can support young students to develop their understanding of numerals and also counting skills, and most importantly, the number concept.